Welcome everybody to VSN Coaches Weekly Evening. I'm Will Torres. With me is Ron Rubio, and already in the circle is Coach Swearingen. Coach Swearingen, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good, Will. You?
Hey man, we're just me and Ronnie and I are having a blast doing this. This is our third night, and tonight's lineup starts off with you, Coach, and then we're going to go to Southwest Coach as second year down there at the Southwest Eagles High School, where he's going to come in, Coach John Haynes. And then after John Haynes, we're going to have the newbie, man, the new kid on the block. But he's not actually the new guy on the block. David Shaw has been around the whole system, Coach, as you know well. You know, he turned that program. He went down to Calpat, turned that program, did an excellent job down there, and was finishing out down here in Imperial. And now he's got a hold of the reins now. You know, the kids come home, so we're glad to have him there. And then after, we're going to finish the night with Victor Cruz. Now, one thing about Victor Cruz, man, he's the AD of Imperial. He wears many hats, as all the ADs do down here in Imperial Valley. I mean, it's looking to see what they do. You know, we're starting, especially with Billy Brewer down there in Brawley. I got a firsthand look what these ADs do, Ronnie, as you guys all know. Coach, you know how this goes. But from somebody looking from the outside in, these ADs, you know, I thought, man, what a life they got just to go to games and stuff. There's a lot more to it. So, you know, my hat's off to those guys and ladies, all the ADs in Imperial Valley. And congratulations to Josh Wise, too. I just mentioned that, too. So, he got the AD job at Central Union High School, and, you know, they got a young, energetic guy. Ron, is that correct?
Josh Wise, Glendale Central is a major accomplishment for Josh Wise on a personal basis. You know, coming from Calpat, his only experience was at Calpat, and it's jumping into a bigger ocean, or I would say jumping in from the pond to an ocean now. A lot more parents, a lot more, a lot of responsibilities, and let's see what Josh can do with it. Good luck to Josh.
All right, congratulations once again. So before we get into you, Coach, real quick, I just got a quick announcement. I want to clear up a little bit of confusion that's out there. It was posted last night that Vincent Memorial was joined the Imperial Valley League. Well, as that might be true, it's not true when it comes to the football field. Vincent Memorial has joined the Imperial Valley League in tennis, and in, you know, I'm not even going to, say which other sports, but they did join some other sports in the IVL. The one thing they did not join was the football league. So they will still remain in the Desert League. So that's where the confusion came along. So John Moreno, he wasn't completely wrong. Vincent Memorial did join the IVL in some sports, but they did not join in football. So I hope that clears up a lot of things right there. There was a little bit of confusion about that last night, but that's where it stands right now. And I got that from Mr. Billy Brewer. He had to travel up to San Diego to have a special meeting with Sandy Nugent, and that's what the outcome came of that. So thank you very much, Sandy, and thank you very much, Billy. So with things on hand now, Coach Swearingen, how you doing?
Pretty well, Will. Pretty well.
How's life been treating you since this? You took a year off now.
All right. I'm teaching my 3 classes at the college. Of course, right now it's all everything is online. But just I went around and watched games, and that was it.
Yeah, that's one of the. I'm sure there's a void there. After so many years of coaching. Do you have any plans to get back into it? I mean, not in immediate plans, but like is even if it's just a coordinator of some kind, because if we go back in the day, you were our O-line offensive line coach and stuff. So do you have any plans or any thoughts or something itching to get back into it?
I'm wide open if anybody asks or whatever, looking for a coordinator or whatever. I'm open to it. I'm not going to go out and hustle it or anything, but I'm open to it. Yes. I don't want to be. I don't want to be a head coach. No.
Well, that's pretty good. And when you coach people like Ron and I, so I'm sure I think that opportunity, hope it comes knocking around, and I hope it's the right program because, knowing you, you know, everything has to fit with you. You know, it's or else it's just not going to work. You know how that goes, Coach.
Certainly.
Yeah, and as far as everybody else down here, everybody's, like, well, one of our guests tonight, like we were talking about David Shaw earlier, he's going to be with the new guys on here. So, it's just one of those things we expect to see. So, Ron wanted to get a little jab in with you there, Coach.
Go for it, Coach.
Well, hey, Coach, good to see you, Coach. Coach, I've been thinking a whole lot about you, in this time on a personal note. I've been thinking a lot about you, Coach. You brought me up as a coach. You baptized me as a coach, and I'll always appreciate that. I want everybody to know that, Coach. And also been thinking a lot about you in regards to the football situation, the football landscape in Pure Valley right now. We have two schools without coaches. You have Calapat doesn't have a coach yet. You have Calexico looking for one. And I honestly was thinking about you, Coach, when you took over the job at Brawley High, when you took over the Brawley job. You went to Brawley. You've been at Southwest. You've been at Calpatria. How is it, Coach, coming in a program, you either you have to rebuild it, or it's a team ready to go, Coach? There's different blueprints. Which one did you prescribe to on your stops at all these schools, Coach?
Well, in all honesty, Ronnie, you know this too, depending on the school and the kids will make or break your approach to taking over that program. You just can't go in and drop a hammer everywhere you go. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
There's different approaches. And every single school that I have gone to, there has been a different approach taken.
Right. And, just like I said in the question, everything's different. But you had success, Coach. Of all the offenses you ran in your lifetime, which one would you say that's a Mike Swearigan offense? What label would it be? Which one?
Misdirection.
Misdirection.
Yep, and you know that.
Yeah, the misdirection. Well, we want everybody to hear that. Hey, Coach, another question I have for you. Where'd you learn that 4-4 defense?
The 4-4, actually, the first person that I ever listened to going to clinics. And, if you go to clinics and you pick up one thing,
right,
it's well worth it. But I picked it up from the head coach at Canisius College, a guy by the name of Tucker Reddington. And I was fascinated with it. I was looking for something, and it was ideal. And of course, Kerry and I worked together, for many, many years. And then Kerry called the defense, and he did a great job with that 4-4. I mean, super.
Now, was he at that same camp, or did you actually teach him to?
No. Well, I didn't teach Kerry. Kerry is a walking wealth of football knowledge, and we talked it over a little bit about whatever, and looked at it, and he liked it, and we had the personnel too. Well, yeah. That's another thing. We had the personnel to run it.
That's one of the things Ron mentioned last night with Coach Van, when he was running. Ron mentioned that when you run that 4-4 and you run out of linebackers, it goes back to that old 5-2 Okie defense. You know what I mean? Because you just go through linebackers.
You kind of equate it on the offensive side with an option offense. It's great, and I love option football. But man, if that quarterback goes down, and you don't have a lot of depth, you're staring it in the face. Same thing with linebackers in the 4-4.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense right there. Well, Coach, I like I said, I'd like to see you back in there. I don't know what your thoughts are on all that, and a lot of changing of the guard sometimes. It's like Ron said earlier. There's two changes, so as far as the coaching stuff, man, it sure be nice to see you back out there. And regardless, we get to see you up in the booth. We really enjoy that. So never be shy on that part. So let's jump over to another thing that's always been, one of my favorite things, Coach. You were one of the the concrete people that built the foundation for the Imperial Valley Coaching Association. Give us a little bit of history on that. This year, of course, because of COVID-19, the ceremony was not able to take place, but Craig, we talked to Craig last night, and the date's going to be postponed till a further date. As soon as we know that, we'll announce it. But you were one of the cement blocks, one of the pillars there to actually start that whole deal. Give us like I said, a little bit of history on that, Coach.
Well, back in the 90s, the late 90s, Jim Sturgeon was the coach at Holtville, and we were very good friends off the field. I mean, we'd beat each other's brains out on Friday night, but we were good friends off the field. And we were talking one day, and Jim made a comment, and he said, we should try to get something going for the coaches in the Valley. So I called him and said, why don't you come over to my classroom at Imperial? And so one afternoon he drove over and we sat down there in my classroom and we basically put together the Imperial Valley Football Coaches Association, invited all of the head coaches. They showed up and we established a constitution, and it went from there.
It's really worked out well. I mean, it really showcases the coaches, and not just the coaches and the players, but it also associates a lot of people that were involved with football in itself. You have a lot of people that were administrators that have been in there, a lot of athletic directors that are in there now, a lot of referees that are in there now. So it wasn't just you guys created something with the coaches, and it just grew into this big old thing. And me and Ronnie and I know for a fact that we enjoy going it every time. Well, it was only really fun after you got inducted, because before it wasn't too much fun. I'll be honest with you on that one.
Well, if you look at it and you start looking down and looking through all of the schools and all of the inductees, and as you said, in the other category, officials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you're looking at a history of Imperial Valley football. And, and it's, if I had to pick one thing that I'm really, really proud of, Will, I think that's it, to be honest about it, helping to establish that. And when I finally decided to get out of it, I couldn't have turned it over to a better person than Craig. Super individual. He's done a great job with it, and he will continue to do so.
Yeah, those are good words, man, and we really appreciate it. I mean, please, people, when we announce this, we're trying to really promote this stuff, and it's crowded enough as it is. But I want to get that ceremony bigger, where we have to rent. We have to talk to Alan Phillips and get him to get us a place inside the Casa de Mañana building to fill it up with people, because it truly is a place to go to sports history for Imperial Valley. It's just a great atmosphere. Ron, I mean, I've had the opportunity to go with you, and we just sit back and, hey, remember that kid? Hey, that's that kid that played quarterback. Hey, there's that running back. Hey, that kid was a stud. I mean, you could look in that room and it brings back memories with all these past players. It's just really cool to see these kids, these young kids that I thought was only 6 years ago, which is actually 10, 15 years ago. But I remember them well. I really do remember them well. And like you said, Coach, I'm glad that's one of your proudest things, that you're going to leave with us here, if you don't get back into the coaching. And it's truly appreciated. I know that much. And you're right. Craig has done a great job, and he's worked with VSN on that with us really good. And we're happy to be a part of that. So
there have been, at some of the inductions, there have been some things that have really, really kind of stood out. It was kind of interesting. One year we had the induction in the ASB building at Central High School, and it happened to be the induction when Weldon Rutledge was inducted from Brawley, who was one of the great running backs that ever came out of the Valley, nicknamed the Horse. And from Calexico inducted that same night was Junior Reclosado, who had played against, of course, Weldon in high school. And when Junior, in his acceptance speech, he had very complimentary things to say about Weldon. And then what was really funny, this was great. Junior said, "Everybody from Calexico stand up." He led him in the fight song, the Calexico fight song. That brought the house down.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Right on. Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate you being on, and we see you quite often. As soon as this thing's over, man, definitely want to see you upstairs with Ron and I. And
I want to say something before I'm off of here, and about you and about Ronnie. Looking at you guys, I get a little melancholy because of good memories that come back. Truly, I watched the interview with Doug, and when he was talking about you playing DN, God, I can remember that like yesterday. Hey, we had two great DNs on that team, you and George Miranda. And of course, sitting here looking at Ronnie, remember Ronnie's a great running back DB, but not only that, I'm a super coach. I'm going to tell you, Ronnie, you will never know how much it meant to me and what a great coach you were. I didn't have to worry about DBs, running backs. When you took them, I knew it was going to be done. And to both of you guys, I want to say right on the air, thank you. And you know what? Like Bob Hope used to say, thanks for the memories.
Thank you, Coach, man. I got to finish it out because you're making Ron cry here again, Coach.
Okay, so here we go again.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Coach Swearingen, and we'll be right back with Coach John Haynes.
All right.
Thank
All right, Joaquin. Why all three of us were yelling at each other, Coach. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to VSN on a Thursday night here. With us tonight, Southwest Eagle coach, second year. I'm telling you, man, I let people know a couple of nights earlier. This is Coach John Haynes with the Southwest Eagles. When I first saw this guy, you could not even tell this guy was not from the Valley. I mean, he came from where the weather was some number below zero and stuff. And he was out there in the middle of August. It was 6 o'clock in the afternoon, just sweating his butt off, had a towel around his neck, and he wasn't missing a beat. So that right away told me, and that's another thing, Coach. Now, I mean, I've never heard it. I didn't hear, you get these people that are out of town that come to the Valley, and the first thing they say, oh, my God, it's hot. Well, hell yeah, we know it's hot, and we live here, But you took it with stride. Last year you had a couple of hard knocks. You paid your dues, and you see what happens with the boys down here. You're catching wind of what's going on, and you're adjusting the life out here. I hope you're adjusting well, and it's a pleasure to have you on, Coach. And I'd like to thank you. One thing on the side before I forget, because I will probably forget. Thank you for the hospitality at the wrestling matches at the master ceremony. I mean, you and the AD, of course.
Ruben Valenzuela.
Yeah, Ruben. I'm thinking about something else. You and Ruben Valenzuela and the rest of the crew, all the IT support we had. And when I sat back, when we were setting up the previous night before the Masters, and there wasn't a lot of people in that gym, and you look inside that gym, that is one beautiful gym. So, Southwest Eagles, it's just awesome. I mean, I've been in there before, but I'd never been in there when it was empty, and I got to actually, me and Joaquin were going, dang, this is probably the best looking gym in Imperial Valley right here.
Oh, there's no doubt. We have the best looking spot, and it's huge. It is huge. I mean, It's big when you pull back the stands. That's 3 full basketball courts, man. It's a big place, and it's beautiful.
Hopefully Southwest gets to host that Masters again, because we really had a blast. It was our first year, and it was pretty good. It was a great opportunity for VSN, And we really enjoyed our time, man. We had the champ announcing for us, so David Sanchez and Robert Powell, one of the referees for wrestling, helping us. So everything turned out good. Let's switch the subject here, and let's talk a little bit about football. I'm going to start off with something that I find that's very interesting about Southwest schedule, Eagles this year. You're switching divisions, Coach. Let the people know what's going on with that, and not only switching the divisions. Ron, I was mentioning to you earlier, Coach Haynes he sent me his schedule for this year. He's I would say probably the only team coach that's actually playing everybody, a lot of the big teams in the Imperial Valley. Is that correct?
Yep. I think we're playing more Valley teams than anybody in the Valley. I think the only teams we skipped on are maybe Mountain Empire and Calapat. We got Vincent Memorial on the schedule. We got Hopeville on the schedule. And we still have the traditional rivals of Central and Brawley, and Imperial. So I don't know who I'm missing. Well, we got Calexico too. Don't want to forget about that. So I think we got pretty much everybody outside of Calapat. I can't think of anybody else. I'm new to the Valley though, so I might have skipped somebody, and I apologize. No,
you got the Mount Empire, and you got Palo Verde on that schedule, Coach.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Palo Verde. I know they switched, which is a great situation for those guys. They've done a great job with their program, and I'd love to see them make hay in the playoffs. And I they got a first-round win this year, and man, that running back's something special out there.
Yeah. Speaking of going into the playoffs, Coach, what division is Southwest going into this year?
We're going to play in Division 4 this year. I think over the years, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I think, Southwest has been anywhere from 2, 3, and 4 over the last few years, and this year I'm fired up that, we got classified in Division 4 because I think that, we really got a chance to make the play, do some positive things for our program and kind of move along kind of the progression I see as important for the program, and that's finding success. We want to be a dangerous team this year. We want a team that goes, I don't know that you want to play Southwest. Something bad may happen. And eventually that's going to roll into you don't want to play Southwest. That's where I want to be at some point, Will.
That's a good foundation to start with. And right before you got him in the air, Ron and I had some questions for you, and I'm going to let Ron take over right here. He wanted to find out a little bit about your offense and defense and some of your starters that you had last year that might be coming back, and what kind of senior and junior team you got coming in.
Right on.
Hey, Coach, this is Ron Rubio. Nice to meet you, guy.
Ron, man, we haven't got a chance to cross paths. How's that happen?
Well, I don't know. I'm a JV defensive coordinator from Brawley, and so on Friday nights I got promoted to being an announcer. So, I have to change hats a little bit. And
yeah. I see Will all the time, and the other VSN guys. I just haven't got a chance to sit down with you a little bit.
Well, they keep me in the background for some reason. I don't know. I'm like the redhead stepchild for some reason. I don't know how that works.
Well, you're the charisma now. Come on.
Hey, Coach, before I start asking questions about your football team, I love your background.
Yeah.
One Bat 64. Now, that's either your car or it's your jersey. Which one is it?
I'm going to say Impala, Chevy Impala.
Well, let's hear. What is it?
I wore number 64 in college.
Yay! I knew it. Well, I've always wanted to get a license plate, personalized license plate of my favorite play when I play football, 22 dive right. But my wife won't let me get it. She goes, Are you kidding me? They'll be vandalizing that car anytime they see it parked somewhere.
Hey, Ron, do you even own a vehicle?
What?
Do you even own a vehicle?
I got my swim beach cruiser up there.
All right, I'll let you guys get back to football. Go ahead, Coach.
I love your background, Coach. It looks really good. Coach, before we go on, just like me, I think everybody would like to know, who is Coach Haynes? Who are you, man? Where did you come from? Are you from – I know you're not from North Dakota. I heard you're from Southern California. Is that true?
Oh, no. Hey, man, I love Southern California. Don't get me wrong, man. We spent some time down here. We lived in Hemet and Chula Vista in my college coaching days. I'm a Pacific Northwest guy.
Okay.
A little different breed of cat up there. I was raised on, and it's one reason why the Imperial Valley is so great to me. I'm a farm kid. I'm just, a farm kid from the Pacific Northwest. My dad's a retired farmer, and I absolutely, and love the agriculture and what this valley is, because that's what I was raised in, and that's what I like down here. It's not. I lived in San Diego. I lived in the Inland Empire, and it's not the same. I feel at home here in the Imperial Valley.
Well, that's good to hear, Coach. I'm glad you're used to this type of environment, and now and usually that leads to having a better professional life. What is your history of coaching, Coach? Like, where did you start? Were you a high school coach? Were you? I heard you're a JC coach. You ended up in Mayville teaching Rookie Pena the ropes. I heard.
I don't know about all that now. Come on, Rookie was doing a lot of stuff before we ran back into each other. Now I played with Pena in college. Okay. Still getting used to the rookie thing. We didn't. Peter David in our day, and we ran into each other. We played together in North Dakota. He came out from Brawley. I was from Oregon. And we played together for a couple of years. He was a junior college transfer from College of the Desert. I transferred from Eastern Oregon University to Mayville State, North Dakota, which, by the way, I'm trying to put aside some of my hard feelings with Mayville State, but hey, Mayville State's huge in the Valley. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We're talking about myself, Josh Wise, Mayville State guy, David Pena, Mayville State guy.
Little Self from Calapat.
Matthew Self, right?
Yep, Matt Self. I coached Matt Self. I coached
the Brawley kid, Ron.
Brother. I coached Raven Smith.
Raven Smith,
probably one that people don't know of here now. A great guy out of the Imperial Valley was David Ortega. That's dating back for you guys. He was the quarterback Palo Verde back in the day, man. He was.
There you go. I know the kid.
Yeah, dude, big, great guy. We talked a couple months ago. Incredible athlete, and I got a chance to coach him in a couple spots. I coached him in San Diego, and then I got a chance to recruit him again when I was in Missouri at Lindenwood University, and so he played for me there, and had a great career for us. One of the best kids I ever coached on the face of the earth, man. Great human being, hardest work ethic, and I think that's just part of growing up in the Imperial Valley. He had that work ethic. He wanted to be the best, and just a great kid. Probably my the best person I've been around in coaching, and it's a direct reflection on the Imperial Valley. There's no doubt.
Well, that's a good thing to say, Coach. Really Coach. Coach, so now on your coaching career, is Southwest isn't your first high school head coaching job, is it?
It is.
Actually, it is.
First time I never coached a snap of high school football before now. I was fortunate to be in a lot of good programs around the country. I've kind of been a nomad, so to speak, of roaming around the country. I've coached in a lot of places. I've coached in California, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Missouri. So, and multiple programs within those states. I think coached at 4 schools in California, 2 different schools in Missouri, so this is my first dipping my toe into the high school ranks, and I feel very fortunate that Southwest gave me this opportunity as it's something different, and as you transition in life, they gave me an opportunity to try something new, and I really appreciate people like Matt Phillips and Ruben Valenzuela for giving me this opportunity out here.
Well, you have a great resume, Coach. I didn't know it was that lengthy, and that's what I like to hear. I think that a lot of people are going to look at you in different ways. Last year was your first year on the sidelines for Southwest, and now with this knowledge of you, man, I see you in a different way. That's a great job. Hey, I was asking Coach Swearengin, Mike Swearengin, earlier in the first segment, and he's been all over the place, man. He coached at Brawley, he coached Imperial, he coached Calapat. Southwest, he was there. Have you found the transition tough, Coach, in this rebuilding stage? Because my first year coaching that, we were there rebuilding Brawley. It's an uphill, it's an uphill battle. It seems like every day. But I was a young kid. I was 23, 24, but I loved every day of it, and we weren't getting the results. We weren't winning. But what I loved most about it was seeing the kids trying to get to where we wanted them to get there. And I know, just by talking to you for 5 minutes, man, I know that you're going to get a lot out of your ball players. What do you think of that?
Well, where we're at Southwest right now, we're trying to establish a program, and I kind of think that's, I don't want us to be a team year to year. I want something like, hey, Coach Self and all the history out there at Brawley. I'd love to have that someday here, and that's what I'm trying to establish, a program, year in, year out, building from freshmen all the way up to
there
our,
you go.
and that takes time, instilling, hey, not everybody, it's not easy to get out of bed at 5:30 in the morning to get there for weights in the morning. It's not easy to get there for, before school starts to watch game video. It's not easy to get out of bed early on Saturday morning to come in and watch a game that you lost. Those things are tough.
Yeah.
Those are the things we got to do to be successful at Southwest, and then that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to instill that into the guys that success comes from work. It comes from dedication to what you're doing. An ability to hone your craft, and I think that's what I'm trying to instill in the kids, and I think it's coming along. Unfortunately, we ran into this pandemic, that's
right.
Like the whole shooting match, but this is the first time they've ever had weights in the morning, or those sort of things. And so we're getting the kids, and the numbers were going up, and we were really enthusiastic of where we were going. With the guys in the weight room, guys are growing, they're getting bigger, they're getting stronger, and that leads directly into confidence, and confidence leads directly into wins. And so that's where we're trying to go as a program. And I want to build something that's going to last. And when Southwest runs me off at some point in my life, I want the next guy to come in and go, wow, this is how it is. There's this program, and it just keeps rolling on through. And my hat's off to guys like Rookie Pena and John Self and guys like that who are running top-notch programs out here in the Imperial Valley. And they're not given enough credit for how much they do, the stuff behind the scenes, the fundraising, the getting the kids in there, the stuff you don't see. Oh, sorry about my cat.
Sure.
But
you were talking about the Wildcats, and the cat just came in and tore that sign up. That's crazy.
Yeah, the cat doesn't catch the volley, I guess. But so that, I guess, Ron, to answer your question, I'm trying to establish something that's going to be long term.
Well, Coach, let me tell you something. I've been part of that, and, just by listening to you, you're on the right path. That being said, Coach, what the folks want to hear, those of us people who don't know, what kind of offense are you running at Southwest?
Well, we're a spread no huddle, and, we try to push the tempo. I want to run as many plays as humanly possible in game.
Wow.
I'm the polar opposite of you guys out there at Brawley. I know you guys want to slow it down and run about 6 plays in a game and win. That's your goal, I think. I'd rather run 80. But,
yeah.
I'm a spread no huddle guy, but we're gonna use multiple personnel groups. We're gonna try to get as many kids into the game as possible. And I'm fortunate right now. Like I got a couple of they're currently sophomores. I got a couple tight ends. Man, I'm lucky. And so we're gonna try to use a lot of people, anywhere from 10 personnel to 12 personnel, and then get in some real heavy stuff as well. We want people to have to prepare for us, stuff that they're not used to. And, hopefully we get there someday.
Sounds like you'll get there, Coach. And one of Will's favorite thing is he likes for me to ask you, name a couple of kids on your team that you think are leaders right now, or guys right now that in the locker room, they're looked up, the kids are looking up to right now, that those you can identify. So do you have any of those ball players right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a good core, and they're, there's some seniors, some older guys trying to take the reins, but really this year we saw some improvement from the guys that are in our sophomore class going to be juniors this fall, and at the end of the year, when our players voted for captains, at one point, I questioned the leadership of our team. And, that's something you got to do from time to time as a head coach. You're the leader, and you got to question the guys you appoint as captains or the team appoints as captains. You got to give, assess their role. And at one point, we weren't doing the things we need to do, and we redid the captains. And surprisingly enough, our team voted in 2 sophomores of the 4.
Oh, my God.
Wait, for this year coming up?
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
sir.
they did it this fall. Guys like Carlos Salcido, junior from out there at Juniors Cafe and El Centro, the best food in the valley right there.
Right on. It sure is.
Yeah, it is. There's no doubt.
Yeah, bro.
His son, hard-nosed linebacker, old school guy. Ron, you'd love him. Wants to stick his face in there and play ball and work his butt off. Workman-like guy. He was voted a team captain. Propping up in my own house, the kid who lives down the hall from me. Another player was voted in by our players is my son, Seneca Haynes. A big kid, but hard worker. Guillermo Lopez, Memo Lopez. One of our offensive linemen. The kids look up to him. But not to be said, we don't have some leadership in our upperclassmen. But we got some guys coming up that want it. And they want to be leaders, and I feel that's important to the program. So I'm happy about what we got coming up. And, it's no slight on our leadership of the seniors from last year, but, the kids decide. It's very interesting when you put it out there to your players. Who's your leadership? It's very interesting to see who they think is the leadership of your program.
I like that, Coach, and I like that. That's the locker room mentality. I mean, like we really don't. I mean, we don't see the public doesn't see what the locker room family's like, and the kids. They spoke out. They chose these captains. It looks like you're on the right path. You have the ingredients. I love what you're saying, Coach. Will, do you think we got everything we need out of Coach?
Well, like I said, since the first time I saw him out there on the practice field and on that August day, and then listening to him right now, having a conversation with him off camera and stuff, if I were to describe this guy, first of all, he looks like a football coach. He acts like a football coach. He talks like a football coach. This guy's a darn good football coach right here, man. He's got he's firing on all cylinders. This has got to be filtered down into the program. He's doing all the right things from what I'm hearing, from some of the things I'm seeing. Every time there's an obstacle in front of him, he just shrugs it off and moves on to the next thing. So first of all, I just love that attitude, Coach. I from just looking on the outside, not knowing and getting to know you better every time we've spoken, I think you're going to succeed. And I think, I personally, by making Southwest better, everybody gets better, Coach. That's the philosophy. I mean, just the king of the hill. Hey, unless you're the king of the hill, man, you're loving life up there. But when everybody's better and everybody's chewing on us as people that love high school football, we just love it, Coach. When everybody's good, when you're a threat, when Imperial's a threat, Central's a threat, Brawley's a threat. If you got that competitive level, you don't know who's going to win league. That's what makes us hold high school football in Imperial Valley. That's what brings us out on Friday nights, Coach, man. That's what we love, man. I just truly love that. And I'm glad to see that you're a part of the Southwest Eagles with that program there, Coach.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate all you guys, and big shout out to all you guys over the VSN. Well, you guys do such a great job. You and Ron and
Thank you.
Our crew, man. I'd love to see you guys every week, man. My guys get fired up when they see you guys. They think that they're going to make Sports Center or something. But hey, that's awesome, man. We need to promote our game. We
sure.
We need high school football, man. Isn't everybody craving, to get back out there and cheer for something? Get together and watch, what I feel is America's game, man. There's no
sure is.
How successful it is. Look at us at the small spectrum here. It's important for football to get back out there, and I really think that's going to be the mark for us getting back to normal. Something real, what we're used to. I'm getting sick of
Right.
the Zoom meetings and all that stuff. I can't wait for the grass to get cut, the lines get sprayed down, and for us to go out in the field and watch our guys go at it and show who they are and for everybody in the Valley just to get back to normal and get back to the great football we have out here.
Okay,
Well,
Coach.
he makes me want to pad up and play right now. God dang, I want to run through that window right
Come
now.
on over, hey, come over, Ron. We got a spot for you.
Hey, I love
Will
talking to
Torres,
you.
man. Will Torres is definitely in the weight room. We're recruiting out here in the Imperial Valley. Huh?
All
You
right,
got the
man.
weight room right, but it's called the kitchen now, Coach, man.
That's a funny thing, Will.
Great,
Is
Coach.
jumping at the bit behind me for me to get dinner cooked. You guys have been my what I'm listening to when I'm cooking dinner for the last few nights. Listen to all the great coaches from the
All right.
talk about their team. Hey, I might learn a little something.
There you go.
Hey,
Mexico.
I'll tell you what. I talked to Coach David Shaw today earlier just to touch base on a couple of things. He's had a great idea, and that's where I'm going to leave it at. He wants to talk to you and the rest of the coaches. If we can pull this off, which I think it's possible, Coach Shaw is going to get you guys together. This is going to be big. I mean, I'm excited about it. I called. I haven't even spoken to Ronnie about it yet, but there's something coming up, Coach, and our whole goal at VSN, we've mentioned it before, is to promote scholar athletes here on VSN, and so we want to spread our wings out a little bit more. So we got some good ideas. I've spoken to you about some of the ideas, and we're going to get together. So this is one of the ideas that David Shaw brought up, and it's just it's very positive. We'll get together in a week or two. There's some things going on as we speak right now, and while I have you on, there's a little schedule change, Ron. One of the reasons we had this meeting so late in the season, I mean, we had Coach Self and I and Coach Rookie Peña, we were trying to figure out a date, but CIF was waiting to give us a timetable on that. Well, that timetable is now. That meeting is tomorrow. Coach Self, we're going to try to make it work. Coach Self has a CIF meeting tomorrow, and so we're going to shift a couple of things. We got a guest filling in for him, Ryan Childers. He'll come in after John Seaman, and then we're going to Coach Rookie Peña, and then we're waiting on John Self, how long that meeting lasts, and if not, we're going to have Coach Self on Saturday morning with the college kids, and we'll make announcements on that. But that's what's going on for everybody. That's the latest news, guys. And that, Coach, that's where we're at. That's the new normal. Things are changing, day by day. That's what's going on. Pretty soon it's going to be 12-hour window. That's the way it's going right now. So let's hear what Coach Self has to say after that meeting then.
Yep, all the coaches in the Valley, I think, are invited in that whole deal, and I'm going to be part of that as well because I'm chomping at the bit to see what's going on. And
Cool.
I can't wait. I just can't wait to get back out there on the field.
Good, Coach. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy. And also truly appreciate what you're doing at Southwest Eagles. And from Ron and I, VSN, thank you very much. We'll see you later, Coach.
Coach, have a good night. Nice seeing you, man.
Ron, you're the man. Will, you're the man. Thank you guys. VSN,
Got it.
all the people that support high school football here in the Valley. This is a great environment. Keep supporting the kids. This is special, and it's going to continue to be special with all the great coaches in the Valley and all the great football. Hey, love you guys at VSN, man.
All right. Take care, Coach.
VSN will be right back with Coach Shaw after this short break. Welcome back, everybody, to VSN Thursday Night Special Edition. And we've had a terrific list of awesome guests, awesome coaches, awesome people. Ron and myself have had a blast doing this. You know, we just came off a great interview, Coach John Haynes. I hope the rest of Imperial Valley feel the same way that Ron and I feel about him, man. He's bringing something different, something special, and he's changing things up at Southwest there. I know John Menasica did an awesome job down there, you know, took the team, to the state finals, and all he needed was, well, depends who you talk to, but all you might have needed, John Menasica needed was the correct call on that last play, but that's a whole nother story. But we're glad to see John Haynes. There's good people and good things come to good people. With that said, man, our next guest is, I'd like to call him a freshman coach, but he doesn't even come close to that, Ron. This guy, we were talking about him. He's an Imperial graduate. This kid's been a stud since he was a kid. This kid's been everything, every sport he played, this guy was a stud. Then he got into a little bit of teaching, and he got into a bit of coaching. He went to Doug Klein, gave him the opportunity to go down to Calapan, turn that program around, did an excellent job down there. Even got a little movie credential by the name of Bombay Beach. He did. He's got a little credit, little. We happened to see it a month ago. It's actually pretty good. I mean, because I know that area pretty good, and it was. I'll tell you what, it's you'll like it if you see it, Coach. And now, Ron, he's back home. Ron, it's what he does. He calls it home. He's running
Home sweet home.
Imperial High School. So congratulations, Coach. Thank you for being on tonight. We really appreciate it. And tell us how you got to this journey. I mean, you're relatively young, and it's where you want to be. Is that correct, Coach?
Yeah. Thanks, Will, and Coach Rubio, man. Thank you guys for having me on. This is being the Imperial High School head football coach has been a dream of mine since I was 10. Used to watch the games out on the ditch bank. And I used to think, I would love to be the head coach there one day. I got into coaching with Coach Laguerra. Actually gave me my first opportunity to coach as the freshman basketball coach in Imperial when I was 19. And then I did some coaching with Coach Black at Calapat back in the day. Black was there. That was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Then I moved to Sacramento, went off to college. And I coached 4 years at McClatchy High School there. And then when I moved back to the Valley, I started teaching in Holtville for a year. And then Mr. Hanks, he gave me a call, and actually Stuart Black and Calapat had an opening. So I went there for 2 years. I had to take a year off to finish my counseling credential because I wanted to be a counselor. Finished that in about a year and a half. Doug Klein hired me right back. And I, was there for 5 years, and then I went over to the dark side to administration. So I did that in Imperial for 6 years, and I was assistant coach under Coach Laguerra. And I just want to send a shout out to Coach Laguerra. He taught me a lot. I mean, he's been a father figure to me when I was playing for him, and he also was a great mentor. As me coaching under him, he taught me a lot about defense the last 5 years. I like offense. I really didn't care about defense, but Coach Laguerra really ingrained that in my head. And so I'm very appreciative of Coach Laguerra and all the time that he put into me. And, it's going to be tough to fall a legend. He's the all-time, wins leader at Imperial High School as a head coach. So, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. It's going to be it's going to be great. Like I said, I am currently employed at Calapat. I'm the principal at Bill Young Middle School, and then I'm the head coach in Imperial. But I'm very excited. It's a dream come true. So I'm super excited about it.
I think you're fortunate in the sense that you have somebody like Doug Klein that understands the position that you're at. He understands what you want to do in life. You have 2 kids playing football for the Imperial program. He knows how special that is. And without taking advantage of anything, I'm sure that Doug has he understands what's going on. You take care of your job, coach, and no more. You know, what can we do to help? I mean, that's the type of guy that Doug Klein is. You know?
He is.
So I think you know, that whole administration in the Calapat area, along with the, you know, faculty is just awesome to work underneath.
Yeah, I am very appreciative to Mr. Klein and the board and all of Calapat. You know, the 7 years coaching there were great. I you know, have a lot of memories there. I still keep in touch with the majority of my players from there, and I just have nothing but, you know, great things. I love the community of Calapat, and you know, I you know, like you said, you know, when I'm there at my job, I'm all Calapat when I'm there at my job. But once, you know, my job's over, then I'm here at Imperial, and this is, you know, coaching football is a love of mine. So, and I, you know, I love to educate kids. So, education's, you know, that's a big thing for me. So you know, I get to educate kids during the day, and then you know, on the football field, I also get to educate kids in life and in football, and it's just a great thing. So, I'm super excited to be the head coach in Imperial, and you know, like I said, I look forward to it. You know, just too bad this shutdown happened. It kind of stalled it because I was only able to be there in A period for about 3.5 weeks. So it kind of cut it short, you know. And so, but we'll get back at it. No excuses. When they open schools back up, you better bet we're gonna work hard, my coaching staff and myself and the kids to you know, to get it going, the program.
Well, one of the things Ron and I were talking about, and it only makes sense, you know. I mean, this is the way it is. But you're going to go into Imperial, and Ron was curious. You know, what kind of offense, man? This is one of the things where I know you don't care too much your defense. One of the questions, you know, I'll steal it from Ron right now, was what kind of offense were you going to run, Coach? And then he'll take after that.
I've talked to Ron a lot, man. Ron and I got to hang out the last 3 years at the Glazier Clinic, so it was good to get to know him. You know, I've known, you know, Ron's son for a while, Ross, and his nephew Rick, and Randy. So it was good to, you know, it's good to talk to Ron, and we were always, you know, hanging out and laughing. But I like to throw the ball. I like to spread the ball out, and I like to throw it. I do like to go fast. I don't really like huddles. I like to say I got ADHD, man. I gotta go. Like, you gotta go.
Like that.
But I will tell you that my goal is to establish the run. I do want to run the ball out of the spread. That's definitely, I need to run the ball, because I do believe that's the way you win some football games, is to control the clock and run the ball. So we will use a tight end. We will use an H-back, and we will run the football. So yeah, we'll be running it, Ron.
Well, that's a good thing. Hey, Coach, one thing I want to add to that is you know, you're coming into your first year in Imperial. There's other situations such as Calipatria situation, Calexico. Imperial, I think, is an ideal situation to land in, man. I mean, I don't think, you know, as an outsider looking in, you're not rebuilding from the ground up. That's just my opinion. You have some pieces of a coach. You've got yourself there. You're a well-spoken coach. Kids love you. I think you inspire kids. I've heard that all this time that I've known you, or known of you, that you're very good at that. And a lot of this has to do with your hard work, David. And dude, I've just known you for a couple of years. I'm really proud of what you're doing. So how do you see your program right now? I see it as not in shambles. What's your take on it, Matt?
You know, like I said, Coach Aguirre did a great job there. I'm not sure how long he was there. I want to say 11 or 12 years. So definitely the program, I'm not building from the ground up. I'm definitely not. Coach Aguirre, like I said, him and the staff, I mean, they were awesome. I'm not starting new, if you would. We got great information. You know, Mr. Apodaca, the principal, he's a football guy. You know, and Victor Cruz, he also coaches. He's the athletic director. It's a great situation. So yeah, I'm not coming in having to rebuild. I would say I'm gonna, you know, try to reload, if you would. And I know, you know, I know all the kids, and you know, Will mentioned 2 of my boys play there, but I do know all the kids. I've been around there for, I was the assistant principal for 6 years, and I've been coaching for 5 there. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's a win-win. And like I said, I'm looking forward to it. And I do appreciate the kind words, Ron. Thank you.
No problem. You deserve it. Hey, another thing, just a little side note now, is it true or false that in order for you to get the job, you had to hire your boss to be an assistant? What's his name, Will? Victor Cruz?
Victor Cruz,
Coach,
yeah.
have you hired a coaching staff yet? Have you hired a coaching staff?
Yeah, I did hire a coaching staff. I hired them. We had a meeting before the shutdown, so I have hired that. Yes, I did hire Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz is one of my.
Wait, you hired Victor Cruz?
He's my brother.
Okay, wait. Did you ask him before you went in an interview if he wanted to coach, or did you ask him after the interview?
No, I had to ask him before.
Hey, you know what? We're not even live, Coach. Don't worry about it. We're not live. You can say anything. Now, do you mind saying who's on your coaching staff, Coach?
Yeah, I got a lot of guys coming back, like on the freshman level. David Sanchez will be there with Coach Smitty Carlton. He's been there a long time.
Yeah.
Frank Lugo's coming back. He's going to coach there. So, and then on offense, it's myself, Victor Cruz, a guy named Butch Morales. He was a quarterback at Calexico back in
Mexico guy.
Yeah, Calexico guy, a good friend of mine. Coach Raymond Colt, he'll be the defense coordinator. And then Victor Cruz Jr. will be the linebackers coach, and then Coach Robert Mesa will be a DB coach. And actually, Cedric Thompson, the kid I coached in Calapan, and that played at the University of Minnesota, and he got drafted by the Dolphins. He's actually gonna move down here and coach DBs for me. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then on the JV level, I have Bobby Davila, I have Jerry Apodaca, and I hope I'm not missing anyone, because and I think that's about it, because I had a few other coaches, but they've kind of, went there. They're going to go coach somewhere else. So, so I got a great staff, and if I missed anyone, I do apologize. I'm super excited.
You got a really tight bond with Cedric Thompson, don't you, Coach?
Yes, sir. He's like, he's like a son to me, and he definitely. He's a brother to my boys, so that's kind of what drove him to want to come down here and coach, because my son will be a senior. So
that's good. The kids are going to get a lot of good insight what it's going to take to get to that college level, and not just the D1. I know he went to the Minnesota Gophers down there, but to get an education in college doesn't matter where it's at. To give these kids the opportunity to continue to play. That's why it's very important for a scholar athlete to do well here, to do good on the field, to keep his nose clean, stay out of trouble, so he can continue his education. Because the percentage of kids, of course, that go to the NFL, Cedric was one of the lucky ones, and there's some, the Muhammad here in Brawley, Mikey, and stuff like that, and there's a lot of the Central, but that percentage is still very small compared to Coach Haynes was just telling us, the Mayville crowd. That's a big crowd that they got, look at little Matt Self. He's down there. He's helping out in the Calapat school district now. He got his education in Mayville and stuff.
Yeah.
So rookie took the same route. Look at where he's at right now. So it's that whole education part of it that as you get to do two things. You get to get your education to better you in life, and then you get to do something you really love, and that's play football. So
yeah, and Will, like that's one, I would say that's one of the most things I was happy for, proud of it in Calapat. I was able to, I can't think off the top of my head, but it's somewhere around 9 kids that left Calapat. Another Makeville guy, Josh Lopez, he's the principal now at the community school here in the Valley. Deson Suarez went to play, and then, Jake Wanell, Mike Medina. So all these kids that left to play, and we sent a few others, but they ended up coming back. But the ones that left to play and they stuck it out, they're doing really good now. So football is just an avenue. I mean, even if you don't get a full ride scholarship, the thing about it is, I talk to Josh all the time, Lopez, and Pena was actually his coach. He played tight end there. And he's all he talks about is college football. And he wasn't the best player, but he's a principal now. He finished his education and with minimal loans, and
Yeah.
so, anything just to kind of get out of the valley and just, see what's out there and then come back and give back to the valley. So I think that's the most important thing, is educating these kids.
That's right. That's true.
That's not only is it true, but it's well said, Coach. You're going to do a good job. I mean, there was no even thinking about that. Wherever you go, you've done a good job, and it's just, it's good to see you. If you're going to be anywhere, it's good to see you back home at your hometown Imperial. I know for a fact you had other opportunities a couple of years ago to go other places, and you hung tough and you did what was best for you, and it's where you want to be at right now, and that's what, sometimes it's not always the path, but it's the end that counts. So, congratulations, and VSN, we're excited to be a part of it. Me and you talked earlier. I did Beans a little bit to Coach Haynes that you're going to get a hold of him and the rest of the coaches about some of the ideas that they're very exciting. Ron, I'll talk to you later. It's just not fair to say it right now when we haven't actually had a structured foundation for it. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about that later, and we'll let the public know what's going on. But I think one of the key things that Coach Ron brought up is that you're going to hit the field running. You're going to hit the field running, Coach. You're taking over a program that was in good hands, as you mentioned prior. So you're not going to miss a beat, Coach, man. So
yeah, that's the goal. We have we have 24 kids coming back. We usually carried a pretty big roster of 45, and it looks like I was kind of counting them up today. We have about 6 offense, 6 defensive players coming back, starters. And then, some of the kids were part-time starters, and, we threw the ball a lot. We ran a lot of receivers. So we have some kids that got some playing time, man. And we're going to have a strong line. I will tell you that. We do have a strong line. We'll be anchored by Caleb Rollins. And then the quarterback, Joaquin Alvarado, he played a little bit last year. He spot played as a junior, but super excited about him, taking over the reins, and he's going to do a great job. I'm super excited about that. So, I could name a ton of other kids. Ryan Bonias has been a 2-year starter there, and he'll be a 3-year starter. He's a stud, and he plays both ways. So we're going to be good. We're going to be fine. I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't know how many wins we're going to win, but you better bet when we get out there, we're gonna work hard, and we're going to give you all you can handle. So that's the focus. We're not going to worry about the wins. We're going to worry about the process and the little things, and the wins will come when they come. So we'll be all right.
Well,
I like that, Coach. I like that theory. I think you're going to be fine, David. I appreciate the time that you've given us tonight, and I can't wait to hear the ideas that you secretly told Will.
Hey, Ronnie.
I get secondhand information. That's cool.
I'll tell you
what? I just called him today. It was I just gave him a call because I've been thinking about these ideas for a while, and
that sounds good.
I said, you know what, man? I'm going to call Will today.
Let's do it, man. Well,
you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for all you guys do for the Valley. Sometimes our Valley's underrepresented, but I believe that with this network, it's gonna blow the Valley up, and it's gonna spread the word on there. There's great things down here. I mean, there's like Coach Haynes said, man. I just met Coach Haynes the other day on a Zoom meeting.
Right.
But I listened to his interview before I got on here, man. Awesome dude. And then
awesome
I know,
right.
I know rookies, great dude. Coach Self's actually, he grabbed me by the ear when I was in Calapat too. And he's like, come here, man. Like, let me help you out. Cause he coached down there for a while with John Bishop. And so John Bishop and John Self have been, they've also been big influences. And it's kind of ironic. And I got Bishop's grandson, he's one of my O linemen, D linemen. So
we know.
Those two guys, along with Coach Laguerra, have been a really big they've been a really big influence on my life, in my coaching life. And Coach Laguerra was an influence in my life as well. So yeah, I'm excited, and again, I appreciate you guys having me on, and Ronnie, we'll get together soon, and
We will, Dave. We will,
No,
Dave.
definitely.
guys.
We're going to follow up on that plan you had, and we're going to follow up on that. Now, you might want to stick around and listen to. We got Victor Cruz on here, so we're gonna fact check some of your answers here. There.
hey, I'll go back. I'll go back on YouTube and listen to him. So,
And once
hey,
again,
Vic's my boy, man. So
You got it.
it'll be good. All right, guys. We'll see you, man. Take care.
thanks for being here, Coach. Good luck. See ya.
Okay.
And waiting on Victor Cruz and VSN will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to VSN on a Thursday night. Our final guest tonight is Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz has been in Imperial for quite a while now, and he's a graduate from El Centro. Ron and I were talking to Vic. It was one of probably the best conversations we had. We were just
On the test.
when we were messing around with the Zoom, we had a lot of off-the-air conversations. We were really getting a good kick out of it. But Victor Cruz, a Central grad, he came from Cal Jones era. Is that correct, Coach?
Yeah, I played for Coach Jones 2 years. He got there my junior year. I played my sophomore year on the varsity level with Mike Triggs was the head coach.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, you're now the current AD at Imperial. Did you start off at the AD at Imperial?
No, I was there actually about 6 years, just working there and coaching football with Coach Swearingen. And the Coach Swearingen moved on to Southwest. So they hired myself and Kim Whitty to be the co-ADs for 1 year. And Coach Whitty, after that 1 year, said, you know what, I had enough of this. And I just took it over, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, that's one thing we were mentioning, the job of an AD. There are many hats you wear there, Vic. I mean, what do you look as your job? What are some of the essential things that you do as an AD and in Imperial? I'm sure everybody has their own deal, but what are some essential jobs that you're in charge of down there at Imperial High School?
Well, mainly the scheduling of the schedules for all the teams, but making sure the coaches have everything they need to run a successful program, making sure that we hire the right coaches to fit our needs at Imperial, and those are the things that are essential that I do.
Yeah. And how long have you been an ID? I mean, I don't know if I might have missed it right now.
I've been at Imperial for 26 years.
Oh.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well,
26.
I coached 5 years at Central. And Dr. Maruka brought me to Imperial, and I've been there 26 years.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we asked you when we were doing our practice run here was we're going to get to that shot question in a little bit right now. But one of the questions is, you come from a program when Cal Jones was there. Of course, it was just, one of the strongest to this date. It was one of the strongest programs. And the many years you've been at Imperial, what's you gave a really good answer to us, and I want the public to know what your answer is. This what's that feeling like now with so many years in Imperial and knowing you are a Spartan grad, when it comes to sports, just when it comes to sports, the competitive level.
Well, I'm always going to be a Central Spartan. I love Central. But whenever I play them in any sport at Imperial, I want to beat them. But when I'm not playing them, I want them to win. As long as they're not playing Imperial, they can win. If they play me, I want to beat them.
Yeah, that was just a unique answer. I love it, because we're all from this small community, Vic, and we all got to make a living somehow, and if being in Imperial 28 plus years or whatever it is, it's done good for you. I mean, more power to you, Coach. More power to you. I love
Imperial. It's been great to me and my family. Don't want to be anywhere else.
Speaking of family, Ronnie actually got a personal message. I think it was very important to share. It's one of those touching messages that he shared with us the other day. Ronnie, go ahead and read it.
Here we go. Here's our public announcement. This is a note from my wife, and it's heartfelt. Mention Victor Cruz's wife, Judy. She is the ER director at El Centro Regional Medical Center, working the front line, saving lives. VSN appreciates her, and just as much as I appreciate my wife, Marie Rubio, and my wife and, Victor's wife, Judy, they kind of work together, but they are at El Centro Regional, and they're there on the front line doing what they got to do, the love of our lives, Vic. So, small world.
She's the MVP of our family.
Right.
Working some long hours and under some hard conditions sometimes. But I don't know if you guys know, but Imperial football, it's all about a family. And so it's so much of a family that I made her a trainer for about 12 years.
You made her a trainer.
Oh, wait a minute. I think you just wanted to save some money on that instead of just buying things for buddy. Just hey.
You know what? You're a nurse. You're hired.
Woo! Good one. I like that. Well, that's good to hear.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's good to hear, and I can feel the feelings that you have for every time Marie goes on a shift. The other day she had 5 COVID patients. They had 50 patients of COVID, and Marie had 5 of them. So I share your feelings. Hey Vic, one thing I want to touch base with you before we leave you. David Shaw. He's the right man for the job, according to you, correct?
Yeah, he's the right man for the job. He's a hometown boy. He came back he wanted this job, and he's been saying he wanted it, so it's his opportunity to do what he can with it. I have total faith in David. He's a football guy. He's been around it for a long time. I've coached with him the last 6 years. He's a perfect guy for what we need at Imperial.
We
don't need somebody to revamp what we're doing. We just need him to continue it going. We have a program established for a lot of years, and we just want him to keep it going.
And, that was one of the points that I brought up with David. I said, David, there's 3 situations going on in the Valley, one Imperial, one in Calexico, one in Calapat. Of all 3 spots, Imperial's the ideal place to be a first-year coach because there's no rebuilding needed. You guys are already established. I think all you need is the right person in there to get things going again. And congratulations on that hiring, Coach. Very good job. Congratulations.
It wasn't very difficult. Trust me, David's a good guy. He's a knowledgeable guy. He knows about the game. And so when we did the interviews, he was the best guy for the job.
10-4. I like that.
Hey, one of the questions we asked David, Victor. No, let's see. Did he ask you to help him coach before the interview or after the interview?
That was one of the interview questions.
Good one.
I love it, Coach. I love it. And let me touch back on something you said when you said Imperial still is that hometown pride. I really sense it is. I'll tell you why. When you guys decided to keep people allowing them to park on the ditch bank up there. I mean, for me, we grew up in a ditch bank on the north side of the Warren Field. And when they put in those, I mean, we have beautiful baseball fields. I mean, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. And yes, I would have voted to put those baseball fields in, but I sure miss that ditch bank because I know Imperial still has it, and that might be the last one in Imperial Valley. Don't ever get rid of that. To me, that's just like, you have a Friday night game. It starts at 7, and there's cars there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I mean, Coach?
You're right. Sometimes by noon they start lining up, trying to get the best
Oh,
spot.
God.
But it's been a tradition at Imperial. We'd like to keep it going as long as the people behave out there. But it's great for our program. It's great for our community, and we love doing it.
Nah, that's what you call just hometown pride. And the numbers that that you bring out there, not only just out here to the ditch bank, but in the stands, man. And let's get into some other sports real quick before I forget. Your wrestling program. I mean, there were CIF champs. Your girls basketball coach. Touch on some other sports besides those. I mean, including those two, and some of the things that have been going on in Imperial sports this past.
Well, I don't know. Some of our best sports that we've had is at one point. I know a lot of people don't know this, but our girls softball team was in the open division in softball.
Yeah.
We got to the semifinals.
Wow.
That was pretty impressive. I think we're the only team that's ever been in the open division from the Valley.
No, that's just badass.
Got one
That's
game away
badass.
from the championship, and it was pretty impressive. We won Division II girls basketball. Coach Poncioni has a great program. I know earlier Coach Shaw talked about Coach Laguerra, but before Coach Poncioni took over the program for the last 11 or 12 years, Coach Laguerra had won 3 or 4 titles as a girls basketball coach before that. So
I
we've
did
had
not
a
know
long
that.
tradition of girls basketball being
Yeah, I
strong.
didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah. So, Coach, last volleyball season, our girls volleyball team was co-champs with Brawley, Coach Lerno. So we're pretty competitive across the board. We're 2-time Division IV CIF wrestling champs.
Yes.
We're in Division II in baseball. We were in the CIF championship 2 years ago, and we were second place in league last year. So we try to be as competitive as we can for being what I consider a smaller school. I mean, when I got there, we were 450 kids. Now we're about 1,300, so we've grown over time. But I still consider us a smaller type of school.
Right.
We're not at the close to 2,000 number, but we're competitive. We just try to be as competitive. And Imperial's a great community, man. Tough people there. And they know what hard work is, and that's what they do. They come to work.
Well, I know from the football side of you, and trust me, when I hear that girls softball competed in the open division, I mean, there's nothing higher than that. So that's an accomplishment, getting to the semis on that. I mean, that's stud level right there,
It's incredible. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. We were in the open division. We got to the semifinals, 1 game away from the finals. It was an incredible run.
Yeah, congratulations to that. And congratulations to you, Vic. I mean, heck,
Right.
you might not want to take credit. We talked about it, and you don't want to be that person in front, but a lot of it has to do with you, Vic. You're putting the people in the right place, and good for you, man.
Well, you know what? I have a good administration. Brian Thomason, my superintendent, was a prior coach, so he knows a lot about athletics. Joe Apodaca was an AT as a coach before. I worked with David Shaw. Victor Torres, another guy who was a vice principal for me. Right now, Sergio Rubio, who's a baseball coach at Brawley. So I wish I could come in here and say, Victor Cruz is doing it all. It's not me. I have a group of people that I work with. They know a lot about athletics, and we collaborate together to do what's best for Imperial. But on top of that, I got coaches that work so hard and kids that just want it so bad that they're always working. So it's not me. It's a community supporting the kids. It's the kids working hard. It's the coaches putting in the time. One thing we don't try to do at Imperial, we don't want sports that just come out during the season. We want programs. They got to be going year round. And if you're doing something year round, you're eventually going to get better. We're not trying to be the best. We just want to be competitive. If you're competitive long enough, the wins will come. That's our philosophy.
Very good program. And when you start saying that you started out with 400 and some numbers, now you're at 1,300, and the level of competition that you've been playing, producing scholar athletes like this, I think it's a credit to, like you just said, the whole administration, to you, down to your coaches, down to your scholar athletes, Coach. So congratulations, man. And VSN is proud to help out. I know we did a couple of your games last year. We had a blast. We had a lot of support from you guys, and we wish to continue that, Coach. And we want it to be, I mean, you're one of the top dogs here, there's, and it's a good feeling being a top dog in every sport. It's a good darn feeling. We had a lot of fun in the wrestling program, man. That dual match down there in Brawley, you were there, of course, and that was one of the live broadcasts that we did. I mean, you didn't even know who was going to win that. So that was that was a fun night in itself right there. That was our first telecast. So, you know, and then of course they went on to win the CIF championship in Division 4. So congratulations on that part too.
But thanks to you guys for promoting the kids, man, because without you guys, people wouldn't know about all these things. And so I appreciate you and Ronnie doing these shows. It's great for the community. Sports is a big thing in our community.
Yeah.
We're not in the big city, so this whole thing with us being out of school and kids not playing, it affects our community because we want to be out there supporting our kids, playing games, and it's tough. Somebody who's a gym rat like me, but likes watching all games, I haven't been able to do anything, and it's tough. It's tough.
You driving everybody crazy at home, Vic?
Yeah, they're making me do a bunch of work around here.
Yeah.
I want to go
Join
back
the
to my
club.
job where I just watch games all the time.
Oh, man. Well, Vic, we appreciate having you on, man, and we wish you the continued success that you're having. And you're absolutely right. David Shaw is the right pick for that.
That's
And
right.
we expect big things out of there. That whole program is going to, like I was telling David Shaw, that whole program is going to get on the field, and they're going to be sprinting as soon as they hit that field, man. So
I hope so. Thank you guys for having us.
And
You're welcome. Hey, thank you, Vic. Thank you. Good luck, and say hi to Judy for us.
yeah.
Hey, guys,
Congratulations.
actually, she's right here.
Hey,
Thank you
why
for
don't I
everything that
walk
you do.
there?
Thank you
Hey,
for everything that you do.
way to go. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Did you hear me read the note?
We're gonna let you
Hey,
go.
guys.
Vic.
We're gonna let you go, and Ron and I are gonna stay on for a little bit longer. Coach, good night. Have a good
Guys,
evening.
bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Well, Ron, man, what do you think about tonight?
Well, tonight was one of the tonight is what we expected. Knocked it off with Coach Swearingen. Met a great guy in Coach Haynes. Heard the inspiring David Shaw, and then knocked it off with the energetic Victor Cruz. What can you ask for?
No, it was
More dynamite personalities in Imperial Valley. We had them done in an hour and 20 minutes. Hope everybody liked it. And what can you say? That's Valley sports for you. That's what the vibe we have. And one thing I want to say to the audience out there, I hope you've noticed, like I have, through our guests, just the intelligence that we have.
yeah,
And,
not us though. The coaches.
Not us for sure. But but all created through sports. A lot of these guys are in the positions they're at because of what they developed at the young age of high school, junior high, went on to college, and transpired into the humans that they are. And it's just great to know them, great to expose them. And hey, man, I feel really proud of what we're doing tonight, Will.
No, I appreciate you, Ronnie, and I'm glad you mentioned that because they're the unsung heroes sometimes.
Sure.
Sitting at home, and I'm sure they want to get out there in the field, especially when it gets hotter. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. And tomorrow's guest list, I mean, this is what some of you guys been waiting for, man. Friday night, starting at 7, man, we're going to have John Seaman. He's the president of Imperial Valley Football Officials Association. And after that, we have a fill-in, Ryan Childers. He's a CUHS graduate, and he's also a board member of the school district down there. And the reason Ryan's there, Coach Self has a meeting. So we're hopefully, I spoke to him earlier today, and he might come in today, but if not, we're going to fit him in on Saturday, and we will definitely have that information out because, we got to talk to Coach Self. I mean, it's just not going to be complete unless we talk to Coach Self. And then we're going to end tomorrow night. We're going to end it with, David Rookie Pena Central. And I think that's the heavyweight fight for tomorrow night right there, Ron.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So once again, thank you for visiting VSN, and we appreciate your support. We'll see you guys out there tomorrow at 7 p.m. Good night. Peace out.
Right.